Hi guys, this is Clay. We're back for part two of our full teardown of the Voodoo Gunworks Priest. Really excited to show you the kind of the parts breakdown on this guy and how the wear pattern. So we're kind of going to do twofold. We're going to inspect the gun for wear and parts, and then we're also just going to show them off as we go. So let's get into it. So we won't spend a whole lot of time on some of these areas, but here's just some of the things that I look for when I'm just kind of walking through my gun. So starting at the top here, you've got your porting window. Try to get my finger down in here. I don't feel any burrs or any machining issues. The window is really clean as far as when they went and milled all that out. Looks really solid. Flip the gun or the slide over, and here's what I was talking about. Look at this, guys. There is no, where's the Cerakote? It's not. The only part, it's like they taped off the part here where the lugs lock up into the slide, but left all over here, and they all sprayed that in with the Cerakote. I mean, it is just of quality, guys. I'm really impressed. That's kind of what I was saying. Look at the stripper rail. Hopefully you can, this is coming through, or the disconnector rail, depending on what nomenclature you want to use. Look at the polishing work on this, guys. Look. Come up here, hopefully I can get a shot at the breech. It's got a little bit of a bevel. It's not a marble cut, but it's like a bevel cut just to allow that disconnector to slide up over here real nice. The breech on this dude looks really good. Don't see any issues there. I did take the extractor out of this guy, but that's and the slide feels like it's got some good heft to it. So really nicely done on the slide. We'll move, staying at the top of the gun, into the barrel. Here is the porting job that is done on this guy. I'm starting to think that the inline ports are a superior product. Not for sure. I want to do a video of doing all the porting styles and kind of what they feel like. But man, I have been really impressed with my OA Compact and now this Vudoo Gunworks Priest for the inline porting. Dude, it feels really nice. Switching over here, checking for the inspection for the lugs. Let's see if we can keep our camera in focus here. We got some wear up here. We got some wear on the hood here, but not too terribly bad. I can't tell if this is Cerakote or if this is actually black nitride, but boys, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. All I did was wipe this down and had a couple Q-tips, but I didn't do anything. Look at the polish on this. Dude, you can shave in that, dude. I mean, look at the reflection on that. I mean, it is really nicely done. That's that attention to detail that I was talking about. And look at the barrel feet and the D link here, or the barrel link. Really nicely done. No issues here that I can see. Just really solid job with the machining on the ports and just the polishing work on the feed ramps, man. Like I said, you're not going to get that polishing job on regular guns like of that level, just so you guys are tracking. Moving on to the recoil system. So here is the one piece tooled. This thing's a turd. Throw this out. I think this is a woofy. I call them the woof springs. Woofies are typically a little bit longer in nature, and I think he's like a 9 or a 10 pounder, like I was saying. Doesn't look like there's any binding or kinks in the recoil springs, so everything looks above board there. Moving on to the reverse plug. This is kind of what kind of surprised me. Because of how tightly fit this gun is, the only real wear is like right there. I found that really interesting because, and maybe a little bit over here. But yeah, I thought that because this is so tightly fit that there was going to be more kind of wear after north of 2,000 rounds. But this reverse plug's held up very well. Moving on to the firing pin and the firing pin spring. This looks like another woofy, and these normally are extra power, but I can't confirm that because I don't know for sure. But here's your firing pin. You want to just check the tip to make sure there isn't any noticeable damage on your tip of your firing pin. Everything looks really good on that guy. No issues. So we'll throw him back in there, so we can slide him back in the gun at a later time. Moving on to your firing pin stop. This thing is really nice. I mean, this is not MIM. This is, I don't know, tooled or billet. I don't know which one it is, but it's really nice. I mean, it's stainless steel. Feels like it locks up into, when you put it up in the slide here, It's really talking about the fitment piece again. It is really, really nicely done, guys. There's no slop, as you can see when you slide it up in here. I mean, it locks up really nice when you put, obviously you got to put the pin and spring in back in, but it locks up real nice, no issues. Moving on to the extractor. Here's another, like I said, you can kind of tell they did some work here. You see where they polished the head here, that's polishing, and typically what they do is they'll do like a little relief cut angle, and that just kind of aids the round or the case, the rim of the case to get up underneath there, so it's got just ease of ejection, or extraction, excuse me, through, as you fire the round and it discharges the case. So everything looks above board. The tension on it, he's got a little bit of curve, so I don't know. It seemed like it was extracting well, no issues with that. Didn't look like there was any tuning that needed to be done there. Let's see here. Moving on to, let's go internals here. This is where we make our money, right? So this is what I was talking about on the trigger, guys. So look at this. This is the EGW. This is the two-tone light and hammer. You can always tell it's the light and when it's got that notch cut out on it. This is stainless steel, very high quality. Here is the sear that I was talking about. Okay, so this is what I was saying, guys. A trigger job is how this angle right here is cut, and you can see it's got that high polish on it, and then that's the primary angle, and then on the back side of it, right, it's hard to see because it's so small, but on the back side, that is your secondary angle, or your relief angle as they call it. And what that does, it rides up here on your hammer hooks, and it's just that little nub right there, that's your hammer hooks. So there is not a whole lot of material for this to the sear to sit on. So if you just slide an EGW kit into one of your Prodigies, and just polish it, that's not a trigger job. You have to stone these primary engagement surfaces to where they're on the correct angles, and you can do that using jigs, right? There's the one that I use is a Harris Design True Radius jig. It works great. You get your set of stones, you line it up, put it in a vise, and you just stand it true of the disc, and you just stone it down, and then whenever you get it to where it's clean and engaged all the way across this entire sear, then you come back in and you just do a high polish. And typically what I do is a Q-tip, and then I just take a little bit of polishing compound, and then I just polish that engagement surface. But the dudes at Vudoo Gunworks, look at this, guys. I mean, a lot of it's EGW. They do a great job with their the finishing work on it too, but this has definitely got a high polish. Look at the polishing work on this guy. I mean, hopefully that's coming through in the light, that they do such a good job. And then the engagement surfaces on the hammer hooks. Get this dude to focus. There we go. Oh, there we go. You see that? That is the money right there, y'all. Just wanted to call that out there, because you can create, if you don't stone that correctly, or if you get it from EGW and you don't check those engagement surfaces, you can create an unsafe trigger. Now, EGW does a great job at their manufacturing, so they get pretty close. I mean, I didn't have to do a whole lot of stoning on my stuff and a whole lot of polishing because they do such a great job, but it's still something that you need to check. It is important, guys. Like, just don't go slapping parts in here if you don't really truly understand how this thing works, because the last thing you want is an accidental discharge, and bad things can happen, man. So just keep that in mind, right? It's not just the polishing. Moving on, here is the disconnector. Here's some more work. Look at this. This was blued. You can kind of see. Look at that. Look at this. That is a high polish on the head of that disconnector. They left the rest of it, and then you come down here to the flat part. Look at that. It is just polished to perfection. And what that does is this piece right here sits on the back of the bow. This flat piece sits on the back of the bow, and then here is the red dirt trigger. Once again, they do a great job as far as manufacturing and their finishing work on their bows as well. But everything, all of these little details add up to a awesome trigger. That is what I was trying to explain. All of these little things that they're doing with the internals and the tuning and the polishing, that's what makes this gun great in comparison to some other offerings that I ran into over the years. Um, let's see, what else we got? Okay, here is your pin set. This is just your standard EGW, looks like pin set. What's really cool about this one, I would like to note, and we'll move into the thumb safeties, because this is where this is the hammer pin that goes in. And then what happens that I noticed on this one's a little bit different of a pin set. Typically they just slide right in on the hammer here, but what's cool about this one that I noticed, there's this little notch on the ambi side right here. Hopefully you can see it. You see that little notch right there? That piece right there, and this little edge is one of the things that I would like to note, is it rides down in here, and then it just creates this kind of like it's almost like a stop on this pin, and it allows us to ride up in here. It's kind of a little neat little design, something new that I wanted to just kind of call out to you guys. Is if you run into something and the pin looks different, that's why. Here is my favorite thumb safeties of all time. These are your Atlas High Ride thumb safeties. I got big old meat paws, so these things are great. Look how wide the paddle is on those, and these things are machined to perfection as well. Here is the ambi side, so if you've never seen one up close, that's kind of what they look like. And then of course they make them in shielded and lefties and all that good stuff. But yeah, just a high quality control, man. I love these dudes. I put them on all my guns. They are my favorite. Moving on down, what else do we got? Here we'll go into the trigger. So once again, this is the red dirt for those who didn't see my last video. I wish if I could have a perfect world, I would take an Atlas shoe and a red dirt bow and let them have a baby and then come out with the best trigger of all time, I think. The adjustability on the set screw back here is where this thing makes money. You can really just dial in a red dirt, man. Like, I mean, just to the finest degree. I mean, you can get it super close up on that wall if you like it that way, or you can back it off. I mean, it just, the world's your oyster on a red dirt. So really, really high quality trigger on these guys too. Let's see here. Moving on down, here is this is the E2 beaver tail or grip safety. This is non-functional, so what it does is it rides down in here. When you put this dude back in, it pins this piece down to the mainspring, and these all interlock right here, and then it just creates this really nice compressed on the sear. So the third leg of the sear is what controls your grip safety here. That's disengaged, so you don't even need it. Some dudes cut it off, but they kept it because you don't need to. A lot of people will cut this off, but they left it intact, which I do like. It doesn't allow for any slopping around in there. Let's see here. Moving on down to the mainspring. This dude right here has got some heft on it too. I said it's probably got a 17-pound spring on it. And in order to be able to get that spring out, all you gotta do is take a punch, push this down, decompress it, and this little pin pops out, and then you'll have your spring and your cup, and then your little indent, which goes right here through this piece. So you can, that little indent right there rides down in that little notch right there. So pretty cool little thing of how, you know, the old Mr. Brown did it back in the day, man. He was a man before his time, I guess. But that's the mainspring, really, really hefty. I mean, this thing weighs quite a bit of weight too. Let's see here. Moving down on the frame. Beautiful, guys. This is what I was saying. Look at these rails. Look at that. This is what I'm saying. Like, you're not getting, that was the way that I got this gun. Look at that. I mean, it is beautiful. You come up here to the top, all this just high polish. Look at that sheen on this, guys. It's impressive, guys. All of this was like this black, I don't know if this was some sort of, I don't know if this coating or whatever, but like this was the way that I got it. Like, so that silver piece right there was right out of the box, and you can see how shine it's got. There's the ejector side. Looks like it's been tuned. The tip of it's been tuned on this guy. There you go. Really solid offering, guys, from the old guys at the old Vudoo Gunworks, man. Just, oh, I keep saying it like a broken record, man. This thing is just, it's really high quality. Moving on down to the, like I said, you already know about the Chile grip. It's a badass grip. Like I said, if I could get stainless steel on this dude, I'd get stainless steel, all aggressive, and just run it, man. Um, really great grip as far as build quality on these guys. But I really wanted to showcase that the rails on this frame is gorgeous, man. Then here is the Chile Tactical Magwell. Dude, this thing's got some heft too on it too, man. It's got some weight. And here's the pin that holds the Magwell on. And then here is the slide stop. No issues. Tool steel. Feels good in the hand. I wanted to show you up inside here, and I was telling you to come back to this one a little bit, but the I do have some wear, obviously, from, you know, shooting my gun in the Magwell, but I was telling you about the coating. You can already see it's starting to come off inside of the grip here, which, you know, like I said, we shoot our guns here, man. Pay all this money for them. You want to shoot them, right, and have fun with them. It's not just about collecting them. But yeah, just where everything on this gun has worn in really well for, you know, north of 2,000 rounds. I'm really impressed once again about the build quality. I'm sure you guys are probably tired of me talking about how great it is, but it is. And I just, like I said, I want to be able to share this type of content with you, because a lot of dudes on YouTube won't do this. I don't even know if it's illegal or not. I don't really care. I mean, if they shut me down, whatever, it is what it is. But this is the type of reviews that I want to see. I don't really want to see a dude, you know, go and smash steel for, you know, and then just give me the high points, right? I mean, I know there's some guys that do that, and that's cool. Like, I'm really not passing judgment, but when I can't walk into some of these gun stores and pick up these guns where I live. I have to rely on YouTube videos and forums to be able to really get the true, real feedback of what, and then the people who own the guns. That's the thing, is like, there's some dudes that own these guns, but they don't know how to work on them, don't know how to take them apart. It's like dudes that pay other guys to mow their grass. Like it, you know, I'm no gunsmith. I said I know where my skills start and stop, so I don't get myself into hot water. But I think that you should be able to, minimum, be able to take your gun down just like this and then be able to slap it back together to do these types of inspections, right? I mean, I think that it is important, even though I know these are warranted, and, you know, they'll take care of, you know, any of the problems that might arise in this gun. But, you know, what if the company goes out of business, and, you know, you don't, you know, you need to know how to work on your gun. You know, I think that this stuff is important to me. If it's not important to you, that's cool. But this is the type of stuff I want to see. I want to know what, when I spend $3,800 on a gun, I want to know what, I don't want you to just go, oh yeah, I got EGW internals. I want to look at the internals and go, okay, what did that gunsmith, that builder do? Did they polish this stuff? Did they put any effort into this thing? I mean, it's one thing to use good parts. It's another to be able to actually fit them and tune them the way that it needs to. This gun has it all, and it has it all at a great price point. You know, I've got more expensive guns that have way shittier parts and way less attention to detail. So there you have it, guys. That's my part 2. We won't make this any more long-winded than it already is, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that you really enjoyed this content, and be on the lookout for future videos, man. We got that TWC Black from Jacob Gray coming out here, dropping here shortly, so be on the lookout for that one. We'll catch you on the next one, y'all. Cheers.